Afternoon everybody. I'm actually using the dry weather we've had today to get up the school garden, and I've done a couple of things. It's taken all day so far and it doesn't look like I've done that huge amount of work, but last week I filmed this and that entire bit was just covered in dock and brambles and things like that, so I've cleared all that today. I've moved those big cable reels down there and I've put stones and a pallet underneath just to keep it off the ground, because that being the bottom of the slope is obviously going to be the frost pocket and the wettest part of the ground. But actually, when I was digging up some of the brambles over here where the children sit and play, the soil is perfect. It's beautiful. It really is lovely soil. So hopefully we'll be able to use that at some point in the future. I have started digging the path. I've put that log and stones there to keep the bark chippings from spilling over. There will be a little arch over this entrance one of these days, hopefully by next year. And I've started the windy path and it'll go all the way along, as I said last week, all the way around there. I just temporarily tied that curtain back up on the poles. It's not good, it needs something different. We'll figure that out, but for now it's tidy. The logs that were there hidden, that the children wanted for a log circle, is now over there. And I have planted out some chard and beetroot in the mound where I dug the squares of grass. I turned it upside down along next to where the path is going to be, so there'll be a bed there. Obviously I need to mulch with a huge amount of compost. And this is how I did the raised beds in my garden at home, where I've got my annuals. And in 3 years now since we've been in that house and I've built those raised beds, it's now just normal soil all the way through. And that's all I did, was create raised beds by turning up the squares of grass I took up off the paths and created the beds. Because I didn't have money for soil, I didn't have money for compost. I just used what I had, and that's the same situation here, just using what we've got. There were a lot of brambles around the drains here, so I took it out and there's now beds all around, so we'll keep that for pretty flowers, and I'll put the flower pot on top of the drain cover. But that plant over there, I did check it out, it is Cotoneaster, so I'll train that up over the arch in time. So there you go, that's what we've been doing. I've moved that table out the way because I think I've still got some of this fake grass at home that I intended to use for something to do with the crafts, and it just didn't work. So I've still got a roll and it's very expensive, so I'll just bring that up here and put it more there so that the table can move over again and they can sit out all weathers and use that again, because they're just going to sink into the soil with the chairs. That's it. I cut back some of that buddleia over there because it was really spilling over, and I've put all the dock leaves that I've pulled up from over there, I put along the fence just to mulch along the edge there, because that's where all the weeds come in from. That gap between the school fence and the house fences is about a 3-foot gap there, and that just never gets tended and is used by some of the residents as fly tipping areas. So there's still a lot of work to do. I've still got to do all the paths, cut back a lot of the overgrowth there and mulch around the bushes. The grass has to be cut. It is absolutely ridiculous. It's almost knee high where it's actually still standing up. So I'll figure out how to do that. I'll sort that out. We can't wait for the council to come do it. And besides which, if they see a garden being made, they're not going to want to do it. But the broccoli at the back there, if you can see it, I don't know if you can, the broccoli, that's absolutely thriving. And all I did there was the same. I just put newspaper on the ground, covered it in compost, surrounded it with the logs. Yes, there are woodlice and there are slugs, but there are also frogs in this garden, and I took a photograph of one this morning that I found, and I was able to go and show it to the children in the class and show them that they've already got wildlife in their garden. And apparently there's a hedgehog somewhere as well. So where I've chopped back the buddleia at the back there by the big cable reel at the back, I've just piled everything around the bottom of the buddleia so that the sticks and things might make extra habitat. So if we get more hedgehogs in, that would be wonderful, if we can keep them in the garden. That would be wonderful. So yeah, wildlife in the garden already, and the children were fascinated by the frog, absolutely fascinated, and I explained why frogs were very important, and then I put it underneath the pallet there nearby the bulia with all the twigs and stuff, so hopefully he'll make a home under there for the winter, or anywhere, because it doesn't matter, there's quite a few hiding places now in this garden. So I can't wait to get finished and get the bones of the garden up so it can look like a garden, and more plants, and I'm going to get loads of pansies in everywhere, just for this path to draw them into the garden and draw them in to use the whole space. So there we go, short update, a lot of work done, but I need to do a lot more, but it will be next week before I get here again. So I am going to, hopefully we'll have some more good weather next week. I'll keep an eye on the forecast. If by Thursday the forecast for next week is rain, I think I'll just pop in on Friday or something over here to do more work here, just to get a bit more done. And that would be brilliant. If I could just get a bit more done, a bit more of the path laid. I'll bring some more wood chips from home, and we'll see how we go. There we are, everyone. I'm really glad we got some plants in there, and at least they'll get, in this short space, they'll get an idea of what to expect throughout the garden. I mean, there's still teepees to go up at the far end and lots of little interesting bits. And if we can get some paving slabs to lay along, dotted along the paths, then we can paint on alphabet letters and stuff, or stepping, log slices for stepping stones. That would be great. We could paint stuff like that on there. Or they could do that, actually. They could paint the letters on and be involved in their garden. That would be great. We'll see what we could do. We need to find, the tree surgeons are supposed to be coming to the school soon to trim back all the other trees and hedges and things. So if we could get hold of their number and ask them when they do come to bring a load of logs, stumps for chairs to sit on, and more logs like that to edge beds, keep this or edge the straighter bits of the paths to keep the wood chips in. That would be great. I mean, even to surround an area like this so that they know where the bed is, and we put all chips in there, then the logs could keep them behaving themselves, the wood chips, that is. So there you go, people. Progress, and it's starting to take shape, and I hope that the teachers will be happy, because they haven't been able to see much shape. It's been a long gap with the summer holidays, but the winter time is the time when we do all these bits on dry days. So whatever you're doing in your garden today, I hope it's taking advantage of this lovely weather to do. Autumn is some of the best weather and the best days. It's absolutely lovely. It's not too cold, not too warm, just perfect. The wind is picking up now, but I do need to get home, so I shall love you and leave you all. Take care, everyone. Bye.